In a world where time seems to move faster and faster, where the pressure to consume is constant, there's a different path we can choose. It's called the slow life. This idea might sound simple, but its power is profound, especially for those of us who have seen decades of change and perhaps now wish for something quieter and more meaningful. As we age, we find ourselves re-evaluating consumerism. In our youth, so many of us were told that having more meant being more possessions, more status, more success. We were bombarded with ads telling us to buy this, upgrade that. But now, with the wisdom that only years can give, many of us realize happiness doesn't live in our closets or garages. The truth is, consuming doesn't fill the deeper needs of our hearts. The fabric of modern society is designed to make us spend. It tells us we're only part of the system if we buy into it, literally. The latest phone, the fanciest car, the dream vacation. These things get sold to us as the keys to happiness. But if you pause for a moment, you might remember a time when life moved slower, when there wasn't this constant push to have more. And there's a way out. We don't have to stay on this treadmill. We've reached an age where it's perfectly acceptable to opt out, to stop, to breathe, to live slower, and to truly feel lighter. I want to share a little story. Many years ago, I decided to downsize. I sold my large home and moved into a small, narrow boat. Now, if you know anything about narrow boats, you'll know they're tiny, 50 feet long and less than 7 feet wide. Not much room for clutter, right? So, I had to make some hard choices. Boxes of things I hadn't touched in decades, appliances I didn't even remember owning. At one point I realized I had 5 coffee makers. It felt impossible to part with so much. But once I started letting go, something shifted. I felt lighter, freer, as if I was letting go not just of old furniture and knickknacks, but of years of unnecessary weight. It was like Atlas shrugging off the sky. Even if you're not planning to move, I encourage you to try this. Walk through your kitchen, your closets, your garage, see what you truly need, and gently let the rest go. You'll be amazed at how much clearer your mind feels when your space is simple and your surroundings aren't shouting for your attention. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against capitalism. It's a system that has its place. Businesses create things we need and want, and they make a fair profit for doing so. If someone bakes bread and sells it to me for a bit more than it costs to make, that's fair. They did the work, and I get to enjoy fresh bread. The problem comes when we start buying for the sake of buying. The beauty of capitalism is that it encourages competition, but the dark side is the constant chase for more. Another new phone, a fancier jacket, some shiny thing we didn't even know we wanted until an ad told us we should. But the older we get, the clearer it becomes. So many things we thought we needed were never really needed at all. Life isn't about chasing trends. It's about experiences, relationships, and moments of peace. Choosing to live more simply in this complex, noisy world isn't always easy. It goes against the grain. Everyone else seems to be buying, upgrading, keeping up. If you step off that treadmill, you might feel like you're the odd one out. But here's the gift. When you slow down and stop filling your home and mind with stuff, you start to see life differently. The rustle of leaves in the breeze, the warmth of the sun on your face, the quiet moments with a cup of tea. These can't be bought. They're priceless. And they bring a richness that no expensive gadget ever could. Living simply doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means making intentional choices, choosing what truly brings you joy, and letting the rest go. Friends and family might not understand right away. They might wonder why you're giving things away, or why you don't want the newest whatever. But over time, the peace you feel will speak for itself. You'll find that the simple life, while unconventional, is a path to a deeper happiness. As we age, what makes us happy often changes. Those grand, flashy experiences may not hold the same magic they once did. Instead, we find joy in the little things. A cup of tea on a crisp morning, watching birds gather at the feeder, the gentle chatter with a friend, or a quiet afternoon with a good book. These small moments, so easy to overlook when we're busy consuming, become treasures when we slow down. They don't cost a dime, yet they're worth more than we realize. Maybe you'll find yourself gardening again, growing your own vegetables or flowers. Or maybe you'll rediscover an old hobby that always made you smile, but you never had time for. Once the distractions fade, space opens up for simple pleasures that truly nourish us. Of course, the pull of consumerism is strong. That doesn't just disappear. Even when you make a conscious choice to spend less and live slower, there will still be temptations. It's easy to get drawn in by a sale, an ad, or that little spark of excitement that comes from buying something new. How many times have we all opened a shopping website not really needing anything and ended up with a cart full of stuff? It's the oldest trick in the book, convincing us we're missing out unless we buy more. But here's the good news. Like any habit, resisting gets easier with practice. Start small. Go a day without buying anything. Then 2. Then a week. Over time, you'll feel that itch to shop fade away, and you'll feel more content with what you already have. When you stop spending so much time and money acquiring things, you'll notice you have more space in your life, and not just in your cupboards. What will you do with that space? That's the beautiful part. You get to fill it with things that truly matter. Maybe you'll take up knitting, or go for a walk in the park every morning. Maybe you'll spend more time with your grandchildren, telling them stories from your youth, passing on the wisdom you've gathered. Or maybe you'll finally dive into that hobby you always loved but never fully pursued. When you stop focusing on things, you start focusing on doing. And these simple actions bring a sense of joy and purpose that no shopping spree can match. Of course, living differently in today's world isn't without its challenges. We've all been conditioned to believe that success means having more, a bigger house, a newer car, fancier clothes. It's hard to shake that belief, and when you choose to step outside the system, you may feel a bit lonely or misunderstood. Society has its own reasons for keeping us consuming. The more we spend, the more someone else profits. So, of course, they want us to keep buying. But the discomfort of being different is temporary. Over time, you'll feel the pressure of that old narrative fade away, and you'll find real peace in knowing you're living in line with your true values. One of the greatest gifts of a slow, simple life is the financial freedom it brings. When you're not constantly buying things you don't need, you start saving money, and that money can go toward what really matters. A trip to visit family, taking care of your health, or simply giving you a cushion so you don't have to worry as much. Instead of working to maintain a lifestyle built on consumption, you can spend your time enjoying the fruits of your labor. You might even discover you need less income than you thought to feel secure and fulfilled. As we grow older, it's only natural to reflect. We look back on the choices we made, the experiences we had, the lessons we learned. And when you've chosen a slow life, you give yourself the space to do this reflection well. You'll likely find you don't regret the things you didn't buy or the trends you didn't follow. What you'll cherish are the moments, the people you loved, the simple afternoons that made your heart feel full, the peace you felt because you weren't chasing things you didn't need. And maybe, like me, you hope to leave a legacy that isn't measured by the possessions you leave behind, but by the example you set. A legacy of simplicity, of mindfulness, of finding joy in the ordinary. I hope my children and grandchildren remember not what I owned, but how I chose to live. That true happiness doesn't come from having more, but from appreciating what you already have. Lastly, I can't stress this enough. In a slow life, your health becomes a true priority. We live in a world that pushes productivity over well-being, but slowing down gives us the chance to listen to our bodies. We notice when we need to rest, when we need to move, when we need good food and fresh air. Connecting with nature, whether it's gardening, walking in the park, or just sitting outside with your thoughts, can do wonders for your mind and body. Studies show that time in nature lowers stress, improves mental clarity, and lifts our spirits. With less pressure to keep up with everyone else, you have the freedom to focus on the most precious thing you have, your well-being. So, choosing the slow life, spending less, and finding happiness and simplicity may not be the easiest path, but it's one of the most rewarding. For those of us in the later seasons of life, it's a chance to step away from the rush, to cherish what truly matters, and to find peace and fulfillment right where we are. It's a journey worth taking, and I hope you'll walk this path with me.